when I heard it, I was like, oh man, I love what you did with that. Then I hear the 3-string, and I hear that. So I'm kind of torn between the 3 and 4 string. I'd like to get and the fretted ones too. I can make some comments about that.
You mean like when you're choosing to get an instrument?
Yeah.
You know,
you can never have
get them both, baby. But you know, if I think that the answer I generally give people, because I get that question a lot, is if you're a total beginner, I usually say get a 3-string. 3-string is going to be easy to learn, much easier to learn than even a 4-string. If you've ever played a conventional instrument, whether it's a banjo, a mandolin, a bass, a guitar, a violin, you know, a cello, any stringed instrument, if you've played one before, I generally say go with a 4-string because you can tune it pretty similar to what you already know. Sometimes those patterns will give you a little leg up, you know, a transition to a fretted instrument. And if you get a 4-string, if you know that you're going to be serious about it too, I'd say get a 4-string over a 3-string. Just for the versatility factor. You can always take the high string off, just play it like a 3-string.
Yeah, I play banjo, so yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
I got all the chords up and down the neck.
If you play banjo, I would get a 4-string, tune it like a banjo. You know what I mean? Just put banjo strings on it even, and you can tune it just the same generally, depending on the scale length. But yeah, you know, and if you get a 4-string, and you take that high string off, learn it as a 3-string, put a new string on it, and then you got your 4-string, or you know, just avoid that string sometimes. So you know, basically the 4-string's a little more versatile, but there's something magical about the simplicity of a 3-string too, that is just, you know, you just can't do the same thing on a 4-string you can do on a 3-string when you're really digging in. And like I said, it's not usually the tunings, they're not major or minor a lot of times, and it just gives you this kind of raw energy sometimes to just bang into it and see what happens. So I think your answer is generally, my bet is get both eventually. You get one first, but get both eventually. And you have a question?
Yeah, I just want to let everybody know I'm from Odessa, Florida, just north of Tampa. And if you want to stop by, I'll give you a business card. We build guitars every weekend. And if you want to stop by, feel free to stop by my shop. I'll be glad to teach you what little bit I know and help you out.
Awesome. And again, that's Mike who built this guitar right here that I was just playing. But yeah, that's great. And you know, we were talking a little bit about building too, and the techniques people build, and it kind of goes along with your question about you know, wanting to build a 6-string, but you know, seeing so many 3 and 4 strings and that kind of thing, and wondering the difference or wondering the approach. You know, is like Mike has a CNC machine, which I love seeing what people can do with a CNC machine, which is, you know, basically a robotic machine where you can program cuts into it and things like that, get all kinds of, you know, designs and shapes, accuracy you really can't get by hand. And you know, there's something about a handcrafted guitar that has its own magic, and there's also something about an instrument that you know, you can do those kinds of minute things with, you can program things like that in. And it's just fascinating to see people, you know, take like a hybrid approach to building where they're not basically afraid to use any kind of technique if it's going to serve the build, and I think that that's a great way to look at it. You know, again, I've heard people say a lot of times, you know, I've got several cigar box guitars, license plate guitars, things like that have factory built necks on them. They're 6 strings. And I've heard people say, you know, well, that's not really a cigar box guitar because it has 6 strings, or it's a factory built neck. And I start thinking about the guitars I played, you know, the pre-World War II cigar box guitars I played and recorded with, and they almost, you know, half of them had factory necks from broken instruments that someone just reused. And so, you know, it's almost as traditional to build with reused parts or factory parts than it is to build, you know, completely doing it from scratch. And, you know, you get a 1x2 from Lowe's, that was probably cut on some kind of machine anyways, you know what I mean, to that accuracy. So I think the best approach is always to be open to everyone's ideas, to look for the good things in them, because the more ideas you accept, the more ideas you're going to come up with and be able to put together.
Well said.
Thanks, man. And if anyone has a guitar too they want me to play, I'd be happy to. Well, I've got a few more minutes here on the workshop. Oh, awesome.